FS Elite at FS Expo 2025 is proudly presented by Meridian GMT. Meridian GMT are on track to create some high quality but affordable flight sim hardware, including their yoke, throttle and X-ray controller. Learn more about Meridian GMT down in the video description down below at meridiangmt.com.
So the one that you just saw up there was one that I presented yesterday over at the Say Intentions booth, which is a lot of fun too. If you haven't seen Say Intentions, you guys are right over there. Great bunch of guys and an awesome product. So hi over there on the left. Hi over there on the right. How you doing, guys? And then there's Floxtrot way back there. He says, I'm not coming anywhere near you because I don't want to say that I know you. Hi, guys. How you doing? So I want to talk about career mode. It's a very interesting topic because some people love it and some people do not. And so that's what we want to go and take a look at today in here in career mode in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So when we take a look at the lineup here, you can see what is career mode. I want to talk about that first because career mode is something that some people don't even know exists. And that means that we want to be able to see what it is and if you can find some value in it as a flight sim enthusiast. I'm a pilot in real life. I fly Cessna 172s. I just rent them. I can't afford them. But I have a lot of fun with them, and I do the same thing in the sim. I found in career mode, you could own a whole bunch of 172s and make some whole bunch of money so you can buy bigger planes and faster planes, and it's something that some people just never get into. So let's go find out what that's all about. I'm going to talk about the skills transfer. That's the main topic today, pulling the skills out of this career mode in 2024. So you can see by the list up here, you can see we've got missions, aircraft guides, ATC guidance, we'll talk about that, and then getting into owning your own companies. Some people don't even venture into that. What's that all about? At first glance, people think career mode is just a game, and certainly it is. It's on your home computer, it's on your PC, it's on your Xbox. You can look at it as a game, you can even look at the whole sim as a game. But there are skills in there that can relate to real flying, and that's really what I want to talk about. And then I'll make some recommendations if you're going to venture into career mode to help get through it and some strategies. All right, let's go take a look. What it is, career mode is an option from the main screen. You can see up here, I've highlighted in red. You go into career mode. Now, there's all the other things you can do with the sim. And you can see there's photography, there's challenge league, there's activities, but this is called career mode. The two most common things that I use is career mode and the one right below it that says free flight. Free flight is what we do with most simulators. We go in there, we pick the plane, we pick the location, and we make a flight plan. But career mode helps us and guides us through a certification process. And that's really what I want to talk about is that certification and that skills transfer. And that's what we're going to go look at. This is not as hard as real life, you guys, as you can see here. I'm saying it's not as hard because in real life, it took me on and off 2 lessons a week, eventually probably a year and a half to get my PPL. You're not going to make you do that in the sim. No one would have that kind of patience or that kind of money or that kind of time. So it's going to be simpler. As a matter of fact, some people don't even take the lessons in career mode. They go straight to the exam and go, I know what I'm doing, and they move on. And you could even pass the exam without the lessons. So it's not hard, it's not going to discourage you, and it's not going to make it so hard that you'll go away. So keep that in mind. It's going to be easier than real life, but there's some really good skills that can come out of here. Let's go look at that. So here's what the main screen looks like in career mode. This is the headquarters screen, and in here you can see a number of things on the screen. Over on the far right, you see missions. The far left, you see the certifications. And then we'll touch each one of those as you go through career mode to see what's going on. In this screen here, you see that I do own some companies where the green graph is. And those companies, I got 8 aircraft when I took this picture. Right now, at present day, you'll see this by the end of my presentation. Present day, I own, in this career mode, I own something like 40 aircraft. And each mission plus my fleet is making me about 7 or 8 million per day. Okay, so that's how it gets when you want to stay in it and get going with it and build your fleet and let your fleet make you money. And that's what, and then you can go buy more planes. You know, I mean, it's like going to a shopping mall with an unlimited amount of cash. You know, what am I going to do with $8 million a day? Well, buy bigger planes, right? And it never stops. So you'll have to probably find a sweet spot where you're going to stop and not actually buy more planes and just go fly what you want to fly. But we'll talk about the variation of the missions too, because it isn't just airliners. I don't do airliners. A lot of people you know. When I'm streaming, I stream I just GA planes. I do VFR. I do low and slow and enjoy the scenery and enjoy the sim and fly the planes that are simpler to fly, of course. So that's what you can do here in career mode. You can fly missions that have cargo. You can fly missions that have people, and those people can even complain because you're not handling the plane properly. And that'll happen. You can also fly any kind of rescue that you can think of. The one I like the best is where you take a helicopter to the mountainside, and on the mountainside, you're going to pick somebody up. Now, try to land that helicopter on that snowy mountainside. There's no flat spots. Now you got to have the skill of bringing one skid down to the mountainside and stay level while you're flying and let that survivor run to the helicopter. You really want to get mean in the simulator, you can actually stop on the mountainside, and as that survivor comes running to the helicopter, let the helicopter slide down the mountain more. And you'll actually see that survivor running to catch up to you in the helicopter. And it's like, that's a devious thing, but it's a simulator. No one's getting hurt, right? So it's a challenge to do that. If you can fly helicopters and you can hold one skid on the mountainside, that's a feeling of accomplishment. You finish that in career mode and people go, wow, you're good at this. Well, you didn't see the other 16 missions that I failed to be able to handle that, right? So, and I finally perfected landing on a mountainside with a helicopter. And these are the things you can pull out of the sim. Find the vehicles you like, the aircraft you like, the missions that really spark with you, and stick with those forever. You don't have to do them all, but they got good variety for us, that's for sure. So we start here to get our PPL first on the far left. We go in there, just like in real life, the PPL is your private pilot license. And we will, this is probably the most amount of lessons in one place. All the lessons are there, the basics of flying. This is the most important part, and yet many people skip it. They want to get onto airliners, they want to get onto helicopters, they want to do something else. And they skip all those lessons. There's the real core of the skills we learn in real flight school. And that shouldn't be skipped, even if you already fly, even if you are even a seasoned flyer or an experienced flyer in real life like I am. I still went through all the lessons of, oh yeah, that, right, I forgot. You know, so that's a good thing. So we start there first, and I'll talk about certification in a minute, but I'm just doing an orientation of our headquarters if you haven't been here before. But that does make me ask the question, how many here are using career mode right now in 2024? Don't be afraid to put your hand up. None of the X-Plane guys are watching us right now. So, and it's okay if you admit you're doing career mode because you're actually doing interesting things with the sim that you don't normally do in free flight. That's pretty cool. So thanks for your show of hands there. For those of you who haven't done career mode, we start there first. Now I just want to give you orientation of the screen. Up in the upper right corner, you can see that we've got your credits. They use credits. That's our money. When I say I'm making $8 million a day, man, would that be nice in real life? But no, these are credits in the sim. And I can buy stuff in the sim, of course, in career mode with that money. Right now it sits at 366,000. That's more than you start out with. You start out with a very small amount, just enough to get your PPL and just enough to get your commercial. And then you got to make more money with doing missions. And it really is cool. You can see here also the right side is where we'll go the most. This is what the people refer to as the grind. The grind. We're going to go in there, do mission after mission, make more money, more missions. We want them to be successful or we don't make any money. And with that money, we can get more certifications. And with that money, we can buy more airplanes. So, you know, that's the gaming part. That's the reward, the accomplishment, the goals, you know, that you see in typical games. But if you think about it, it's just like real life. In real life, you would start with your PPL. You'd build all your hours. You'd get your commercial. You'd get your dual. That's what they call it, twin engine rating. You'd get your turbo rating. You would move on to jets. You'd move on to airliners, of course, the big tube liners. I mean, these are normal steps in real life. And those normal steps cost thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars. And lots of grinding to get the hours. I don't know if you guys know, anybody know the prerequisite to even apply for the airlines? I want to go fly 737 someday. Probably have to start out with Dash 8s or something. Do you know how many hours it takes to even just apply? Could it be 1,300 hours minimum? Do you know? You saying 1,500? Is that what I'm hearing? 1,500. I feel like an auctioneer. 1,500 over here, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. So sold. No, but you know that that's a lot of hours. If you guys realize that's hours in the plane actually flying. You paid for all those hours by the hour in the plane, unless you had a company that did that for you, right? And so that's a huge expense. It's a long time. A person who wants to get to the airlines has to spend a long time to get those hours and a lot of money. Here we get to do it in career mode, and all we did was buy the sim, right? Now, some of us bought hardware to go with it too. You know, take a look around what you can buy, right? Come with an unlimited credit card at Expo weekend. All right, what we're also going to show you over here, specializations. Now, this part automatically gets populated as you grow more missions, as you get more experience, and as you do the prerequisites to be able to fly certain missions. And that's where you start seeing the goal part of it, the goals. And what I mean by that is once you reach that criteria for the goal, they unlock a new thing that you can do. And that's pretty cool because you can't wait to go try that new kind of mission. And that makes it interesting also. So even if you take nothing else away from this session, you guys, what I want to say is, are you bored with your flying? Then come to career mode. Because in career mode, you get to do such a variety of missions and such a variety of challenges that you should be able to actually want to go back to the sim and do another one. Go back to the sim, do another one. And that's what I'm finding too. I can't set the sim down. Some of you in the crowd will even say that every time I see Howard online, he's been online for 23, 28 hours. And I've been told, like, Howard, where are you flying? I said, well, I'm just doing a bunch of missions. And then when I'm done, I'm doing a bunch more. Until I get called for dinner. We had that conversation recently. There's a priority there, yeah. So up here in the upper left corner, level will grow. This is your level. Right now at this snapshot, I'm at level 133. And I think now, this was taken maybe 2 months ago, I'm at level 287. You know, who knows what that means, except that your experience grows. And that's what you'll see underneath the level you see on this one. It says 455 or 455,000, something like that. So I don't even worry about that part. Level doesn't matter. It'll unlock stuff. Don't really know that mechanism, so I don't worry about it. But what a lot of people worry about is that reputation level underneath. Take a look at it. It says reputation level. Luckily, on this screen snap, I'm at an A. And you'll see others that say, oh, I'm always an S, and I'm always an S, and that's what I do all the time, right? And you just go, yeah, right. And I say, yeah, right, because you're going to have a mission where something's going to go wrong. I came to a mission where I was doing a landing at night with no landing lights at the airport at all. And, you know, that's a real test of a pilot. In real life, I would not land there as a real pilot. In real life, I go to an alternate. I go somewhere else. You're not going to land on a runway in the dark of night when you can't see the runway. That's just ridiculous. But in career mode, that's the runway you're supposed to land on. That's the airport you have to land on to be successful. So I'm going in. And there's the fun of it, too. It's like, could I do this? And that particular flight, I did manage to get somewhere near the threshold. I did manage to turn sideways and skid to the end of the runway. And then it said, mission accomplished. So that was good. It was like, yes. I don't ever want to do that again. Because, you know, it's not a lot of fun. In real life, you would never do that, of course. But that's the fun of it, and those are the challenges that can knock your reputation down. And I think on there, I broke the landing gear or something. I don't know what it was. I had something like $1 million worth of repairs or some foolish thing. But guess what happened? My reputation level went to C. Charlie, it went to C, everybody. That means that I got a lot of work to do because even the next successful mission, I still didn't get out of C. It gave me a little bit more. And the next successful mission, a little bit more. And at some point, I got back into B. And I was like, yes. And people go, you're cheering because you got into level B? What's wrong with you? And I said, well, it's a long haul. And that's what happens. So when people say, I'm always an S, I never get out of S. So I go, what are you doing with the sim? Do you just get it to S and then never fly it again? So that's what you're doing. I can tell what you're doing because it's going to go up and down. All right, when it gets into that S range, you're exceptional. I don't know what that stands for, but it's something like that. It's above an A. All right. So we're getting an idea eventually, and I'll talk about this in the last 3 slides of this presentation or so. I'll talk about companies. Not everybody will want to buy a company. Not everybody want to run a company. But it's a nice thing about this. That's where you really make the money. As I mentioned, I fly my mission, which might make $700,000 for the day, but my other 38 aircraft are going to bring in that $1 million because they're going to fly the same hours I'm flying. That's what cool thing about career mode. That's when you start making the money to buy other planes and stuff. So companies is good. Some people don't want to go there. They don't want to manage a company. I just want to fly missions. All right, we'll see how that goes. All right, so skills transfer, and that's the reason I'm here, you guys. I teach courses. I have them on udemy.com. I also do Twitch channel. I have For to Learn to Fly Twitch channel where I teach lessons on every Tuesday night. Thanks for that, you guys. Got a couple supporters here. And I tell you, those skills transfer is really what it's all about. We're always learning as pilots, forever learning as pilots, and refining our skills and getting better and helping others because of it. And so I'm finding in career mode, there's a lot of skills in here that can be transferred that you can learn in career mode. How many of you can take a helicopter today, right now, in the sim and go and rescue somebody? How many in here can do that? Show of hands. So it's like 2 people. Wow. And then Foxtrot over here, if you guys don't know Foxtrot, he's a streamer too. Foxtrot, he says, yeah, I can sort of, what does sort of rescue mean? It's either, that's binary, right, Flox? It's either you rescued the person or they're going to die, right? So, so it is a challenge. And certainly flying helicopters is a challenge too, right? That's it. I might have to come rescue him after he tries to rescue that person. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. We'll send in 2 helicopters every time Flox goes out, right? So the first two certifications, you can see that's a certification screen there. And the first 2 that you see on there, the big one in the middle is your PPL. The one to the left is your commercial license. You got to get those 2 to start making money, just like in real life. Now, that first one is the important one because it's got all the lessons. The commercial one has a couple more you need. As you grab each of these certifications on the outer edges, they'll give you either more lessons or just an exam. And that's the part that I think is falling down because the exam is really just take this new turboprop and go do a circuit. And then you land and they go, way to go, you got the certification. And if that happened in real life, we'd have a whole lot of incompetent pilots out there. So, you know, that part of career mode, they had to make it easy so that we can do this. All right, so it can't be as hard as in real life, right? So I just say that. But the private pilot license, all the lessons are there. You take those lessons, you're good to go. You can fly anything, all right? And that's important. So don't hesitate. And you can go back anytime and take those lessons. So skills transfer. In the very beginning, as you take each new test and get new certifications, you'll learn some skills, and you'll also get new opportunities for different kinds of missions, all right? Each of the planes that you're going to fly, you've got to have some kind of certification to fly them. As you heard already, you start out with a piston airplane like a 172, which most of us have flown in before or learned from, and you move your way up into turboprops and eventually into jets if you want, and then specialization areas. And then you get the beautiful congratulations reward. We've just unlocked another plane that you can fly. Oh, let's go do it, you know? And it's nothing to do with planes that you buy with your own money. In the sim, you can go buy planes in the marketplace. You can go buy planes on websites and developers that are here, and you can add those to your sim, but you can't use them in career mode. That's starting to change. And I've been talking to developers today too, and here this whole weekend, and a lot of them are looking into how do I make my plane available in career mode. If you buy it with cash and put it in the sim, can that be used in career mode? And up to now it was no, there's nothing, they're not even connected. You're using credits in career mode to buy airplanes in career mode. That's how it works today. But now you can change and say, I want that plane that I actually bought with cash and use that for a mission. And that's the change that's happening, and developers are looking into that. You'll hear an airplane that's for sale that says career mode compatible. Ooh, that's what you're looking for if you want one of those, all right? And then you can use those. Okay, here's what happened. Now, this is what I've done, you guys. You see, on the left side is a scrolling area of lessons, but because it's a static picture that I'm showing you, I had to break them out and show you as like a mosaic. So every one of these squares you see was the scrolling part on the left, and these are all the lessons that you can take. These are all free. You can take those anytime. You don't have to pay for them. You only pay for the exams with credits, you know, just so you realize there's no extra cash there, but it's credits. So each of these, you can see, are all the basic stuff in flying that could even be boring. It's like you're going to do straight and level. How boring is that for 10 hours? Well, that's not what we mean. We need the skill of staying straight and level. What's that? And in real flight school, there's a technique to all of it. There's a skill you need to learn. There's a flow. There's a checklist. There's things that need to be done to manage each thing. So when you go through all of these, and I assess them because people ask me to assess their lessons. I help write curriculum. And so when I assess these, I looked at them to see how close is that to real. And I am very impressed. I'm so impressed, I'll put it in the presentation and say, go do these, all of these. And you know, the funny thing is, these are free and they're built in. I have courses on Udemy that cost money. I'm killing my own courses by saying, go do these, right? Because now there's something really good. 2020 doesn't have good lessons. 2024 nailed it. So they're valuable, go do them. They're going to help you a lot with your skills transfer, for sure. All right, your action plan for starting. I want to do this once in a while because some of you only care about the starting part. You don't care about the career mode business. So you might even leave the session before that. So I want to give you a summary of each one as we go along. First of all, I want to point out my airplane after a few missions. I forgot to wash it. In career mode, you can spend money and wash your plane. But I'm a miser. I said, I'm going to hold that cash and see if it still works. So look at the mess of the thing. And yeah, that is my handle there. My handle is actually formally called Firewall. That's my handle if you ever hear of it. And so when I named my freight company, I just called it Firewall Freight. That's where that comes from, you guys. They put it right on your plane. That's cool. But anyway, number one, get familiar with the main screen like I was showing you. Number two, start the lessons for private pilot. You have no other choice, by the way. So it's not a suggestion. You won't get anywhere else unless you take that first. But three, practice those lessons in free flight. And this is the beauty of it. The 172 is there in free flight. Take the lessons here, go into free flight, and make all the mistakes you want, and just keep practicing left and right. Come back here, take the next lesson, go in free flight, and keep practicing all you want. And guess what? You go take the exam, it's like, that's it? They just want us to do a circuit around the airport? Are you kidding? I can do that with my eyes closed. Well, there's a lot of skills there, of course, right? Even now, you guys, after 30 years of being a pilot, even now, I'll go to my local flight school, I'll rent a 172, and I'll just do circuits. That's the rectangular pattern around the airport where I'll just do touch and goes for an hour, hour and a half. The controllers are probably tired of my voice on the radio, but you know, every facet of flight is happening in that circuit. I'm doing takeoffs, I'm doing crosswind, downwind, base, final, touch and go, flaps happen, this happens, I got to keep straight and level on downwind, I got to watch my wind, I got to correct for wind. All this stuff is happening, so it refreshes me back into flying an airplane again so that when I do go on a journey with a friend, I'm not going, oh yeah. Nothing builds confidence worse than saying, oh yeah, as you're a pilot. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence in your passengers. Oh yeah. All right, so then the final one is take the exam, and if you fail, you can retake the exam, of course, right? Just like in real life, but it's actually a good feeling if you can nail the exam. I have to say that's the part that's the easiest, though. And too many people are going straight to the exam, paying for it, getting it, moving on, and they have no idea how to fly properly. And it's going to get them later. They're going to start flying faster in higher planes, and they're going to be in trouble because they don't know how to handle them. All right. So here's what happens. You'll grind away at missions. I'm showing you a mission screen. I got some planes in Florida now. I like Florida because it's flat land, and I'm not going to run into any mountains. And my missions are more successful because of it. And I can fly lower because there's no mountains, you know. So I like these. A lot of these are over to the Bahamas. I'll show you a picture in a minute. My credits there look about the same, I guess. But you notice it says employee in the upper left corner. So you start out as an employee. Someone else is making a lot of money, and you're making a little trickle amount to start with. That trickle amount means I got to do like 5 missions to be able to buy my next certification. It's not fair, because later on, as Howard said, you could make $1 million a day once you get up there. It's like, what? $680, something like that for a mission is like, that's my reward? Well, in real life, $680 isn't so bad. So you'll start out slow, be patient, do lots of these. They call it the grind. I'm going to do lots of missions. Maybe 1 a day if I can afford the time, 2 a day if I can afford the time, whatever. All right, do as many as you can. Move up. Now the certification costs, I've also pulled these screens out. When you click on any one of those certifications, you're going to see a pop-up. I grabbed every pop-up so you can see it in big here, all right? And you see these pop-ups, the tail wheel endorsement, just like in real life. It's different flying a tail wheel plane. Anybody here try a tail wheel plane? Were you successful? I know you do tail wheel plane. You do them in real life, right? You did them in real life. You've been in them in real life, you know. But tail wheel planes do have a different technique, a different skill. And that's your tail wheel endorsement. What this simply means is that once you've taken this endorsement and paid for it, in your missions, you can select a tail wheel plane instead of the conventional plane they give you. That's cool. Now you got variety. So that's a good thing. The night currency. Now you can do flights that you end up at night, unless it's an unlit runway, like I had. Multi-engine, very common. But look at the cost of these things. That multi-engine rating, you have to have that rating or you'll never get a twin engine. You'll never get anything bigger. But that rating is 15,000 credits. I start out with 3,500 credits, the start of the career mode, 3,500. And guess what? The PPL and the commercial will use up that money. So guess what? I don't have any more money left. I want my multi-engine. 15,000, I got to go do some missions now. I got to make some money. So you got to grind it. There's the grind people talk about. I got to grind away mission after mission after mission and finally go get my next rating. But here's a suggestion, and at the end here, I'm going to give you a few more recommendations. A suggestion is not to go and get all the certifications to start. All right, get your PPL, your commercial, and then make money. And now think about the first company you want to buy or the next plane you want to buy. But don't just go try to get all the certifications. You're wasting all your money on certifications and not having fun. All right, got to remember the fun factor is why we're doing this, right? Skills transfer is cool, but we got to think about that. And by the way, just to know the timeline, you guys are about halfway through what I'm presenting, but I want to mention, as soon as we're done here, we're going to be heading over to the main stage back there, where Evan will announce the next venue and all the other closing stuff that he does. So as I finish up here, and I'll try to be mindful of my time, give us enough time to get back to that stage so we can see the main event to finish off, right? Okay? Just so you guys know what's going to happen there. Instrument rating. Don't get it yet. You get the instrument rating, you're going to start doing IFR flights, and IFR at times is not accurate. Is that a polite way of saying there's bugs? I mean, people will complain about it. I go, I can't believe they told me to go to 29,000 feet. I'm in a Cessna 172. I'm going to die. You know, so I mean, you know, it's things like that that I don't want to do IFR yet. If you find yourself in an IFR flight in career mode, I'm going to suggest start it out in IFR the way it's supposed to happen. Let them give you your altitude. And then when it's quiet on the radio, go up to the menu and say cancel IFR. Honestly, pick your altitude that's good for your plane that you're comfortable with. You won't hit anything. And fly to your destination, do a proper pattern entry, overhead the field, left downwind stuff, and you will have a successful mission. You don't need to do the IFR mission start to finish. It might be inaccurate. Okay, for now, till the next update, you know, that's the way it works right now. It's still kind of fresh. I'm giving you that little hint as we go along. Okay, here's a screen snap. I was going to say shot and snap and put them together. It would be some kind of strange word, but this is a snap that I took. This is the helicopter mission here. It was search and rescue, and this one just happened to be pretty good for my numbers. Wow. Undesignated landing area. Whoops. But this happens, and this, you know, this was successful. I still got an S out of it, which was surprising, because my target localization time was 100%. So I found the survivor on the mountain quickly. And on a white mountaintop, red smoke comes up really easily. And I happened to look left in the helicopter, and there's the red smoke. And I went in and got the person, and then headed back to the airport. And I got 100% on how long it took me to actually find the survivor. You got a big search area, like in real life, right? I got lucky on that one. That's all it is. I looked out the left windows. I would have flown right by the thing. But you notice that my target retrieval time, coming back, once I found them, I couldn't find a place to land, and I had to do that one skid on the mountain thing. And then I missed something there, undesignated. So my score isn't the highest, but I still got an S rating, so that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'll take that. But this is how the missions will finish, showing you this, and that's the helicopter I flew. Wow, applause halfway through. I like that, yeah. All right, skills transfer. Let's talk about helicopters from that picture. On the right side of certification is your helicopters. This is where you can get into rotorcraft, as they call it. I have all of those certifications because I teach helicopters and I also teach fixed wing airplanes. So I wanted to check those out to see how good they were also. The part that I find at fault with this is that you have to get your fixed wing PPL first and then branch into helicopters. All right? That's kind of strange. You could actually go to a helicopter flight school. You can go right into helicopters without doing fixed wing. They'll start you from day one in a helicopter. So that's different than real life here. But anyway, once you get in the helicopter branch, there's lots of fun stuff you can do in there now too. And we start with the Cabri G2, which I do on my Udemy course also, because that's a training helicopter. And I want to mention this about training. A small helicopter, just like with sailing, if you're going to learn to sail, they'll put you on the little 14-foot CL-14 or an albatross or something tiny, and you're going to get in that thing, and it's so unsteady, and you get down low real quick, and if you have a gust of wind, you're going in the drink. They do that intentionally so that you learn the nuances of the wind against the sails. It's intentional. They're not going to put you in a big stabilized boat with an iron keel and say, you can do this. Anyone can do that. They're putting you in a small boat so you learn to sail properly. And I can talk about that too because I teach sailing. But let me say this. They put you in a little plane so you'll feel the wind. You'll feel all the nuances of the plane. You'll feel the forces. Because in those 172s, there's no hydraulics. Those are direct cables going directly to those ailerons, direct cables going directly to that rudder. So they're putting you in a small plane so you will learn to fly properly with the wind, in the wind. And that's why they do it. And so same with helicopters. And they're not going to put you in the stable, bigger helicopters that have auto hover. Can you imagine? I'm going to come down to pick up somebody, and I'll just hit the auto hover button, and it's perfect. It doesn't move. There's wind and everything. There's a crosswind going on, and it stays there. It's like, I can do this with the auto hover, right? Now try and do that in real life. Your first lesson is to just come up 2 feet off the ground and stay there. Try and do that with a helicopter. It is not easy, and that's the skill we want to learn. The wind will move you around, gusts of wind, whatever's happening, ground effect. It's all going to make that helicopter twitch. And you got to know how to handle that in a twitchy helicopter first. That's why we use the little ones. You nail that, you can fly anything. Same thing with, fixed wing. You learn to fly properly, you can handle the bigger ones. All right, the commercial pilot license for rotorcraft, same idea. There's all your lessons down the left. Whoops, I got a B on basic maneuvers. I better go back to the drawing board. You can take the lesson again and again. I could go back now and say, well, that's embarrassing. I better go back. I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. I'm going to take that lesson again. How did I get a B? And I'll make it an A. I'm not the kind of person that has to go up and correct that. I don't mind showing it on the screen. But that's what's going to do. That does not affect your exam. When you take the exam, you can see here, it's $3,500 for that. You don't have enough for that at the start. You got to grind missions first and then have enough to take the helicopter exam. And so that's really the game part of it. I have to do missions. I got enough money. Now I can take that exam. Now I can fly helicopters. Now I got to do more missions with helicopters. So that's the grind they talk about, right? But that's fun. Make it fun. Have some fun with it. Here's an example of the first lesson, the introduction to the G2. You're gonna take that helicopter 2 feet off that little circle area and try to keep it there facing the same direction. It'll want to start moving away. You've got to correct that with your anti-torque pedals. It'll try to settle back down. You got to give it a little more collective. Everything that it starts to do, you've got to try and stay there for 2 minutes. That's the test. Once you can stay there and you're doing all this for 2 minutes, you passed. You did it, because in real life you do have to hover, and in real life you have to hover taxi. And while they're hovering, they're checking instruments, they're making sure you're okay. If something went wrong, you're only going to fall 2 feet to the ground. That's why they do it. You manage it here, then you go into higher, and then you go faster, and then you go other places. And that's cool. That's like in real life. It's so cool. So I give it kudos for that. Your action plan for starting in helicopters, again, get familiar with the main screen. Get your private pilot license first. You have to in this one. Now do your commercial rotorcraft lessons to learn more. And now go make some money, have fun with helicopters. Go rescue some people that are still waiting out there in the mountain for you. Then commercial means you can make more money. That's for sure. Now, the Edge I just want to mention one thing here. The Edge certifications out in the far end of it. You can see I've taken all those that are in green. The ones on the edge, there's turboprop, airline transport pilot, way on the far left there. Turboprop. Now I can fly the PC-12. Love that plane. And if I got my twin endorsement, you can see that's in green there too somewhere. I can now fly the twin turboprops. There's a lot of those. I got powerful planes that can go higher, faster, and do bigger cargo and make more money. So that's why we do it. It's just fun. It just keeps building. On this screen snap, I still didn't have my night currency. Then once I got it, I had to land at an airport with no lights. So, you know, it's like, that was a mistake. But no, I keep dwelling on one airport, but all the rest had lights. So here's a sample. Every time you get a new certification and a new specialization, as they call it, you'll see this screen pop up before your mission. That's really cool. And every one of those things are from the sim. Those are pictures from the sim. You can do, and I have done every one of those things. Absolutely loved it. Who wouldn't want to tow a banner down the beach at the right altitude, at the right speed? I mean, that's a skill. It was like, I got to slow the plane down. I got to make it go straight and level at a certain altitude and a certain speed. There's the skill right there. And I'm towing a banner because I'm making money towing a banner, right? So anyway, there's lots more. I could sit and talk about this screen forever and give you examples in video, but here I am coming back from a firefighting, and I happened to get 100% on the actual firefight. I was lucky enough to drop the water at the right time and put out that little fire at the initial attack. Now, it's because I had already done it in the sim. We'd already done a session on my Tuesday night lessons on how to do water bombers in the 802 and in the 415. So I had already had hours of practice putting out fires, and then I did it in career mode, and I happened to nail it. It was like, yes, that's because I worked on the skills, and I got better at it, and now I could actually go in my first pass and put out that fire. Cool. And that's the real feeling of accomplishment, you guys. It doesn't mean I'm any better than anybody else in this room. It means I practiced a lot in free flight, got really good at it, figured out my mistakes and what I'm doing wrong, and then I went in and nailed it. And that's what the fun is. That's the skills transfer I'm talking about in this session. Anybody else here done a firefight yet? Done one of these planes or the 415? Nobody. It's so much fun. The 415 is a beast, let me tell you. A lot of fun, big plane. So here's what's called specializations. And in specializations here, aerial firefighting is what I've highlighted. The reason I'm showing you this screen, look at my highlights. Aerial firefighting extended attack means more than one fire or a bigger fire. I won't put that out in one pass. This is the bigger fires. Might be 10 passes with the bigger plane, the 415 that you see over here. I love that plane, but you have to earn it. Take a look at where I've got it circled in the far right there. It says 5 out of 10. So to get this specialization, to be able to fly this baby and go put out missions, put out fires with these missions, I have to get 5 airplane missions with an A or above. There's the skill. There's the challenge. There's like, I might have already done, by that picture, I might have already done 10, but only 5 so far I got an A or above. Honestly, that's probably what that means. I've probably done 6 or 7 missions, but they were an A or above. So they're going to make me earn this certification. Takes longer, doesn't it? So I'm going to go back to that 802 you saw previously. I'm going to go back to this plane here. I'm going to do another 5 missions with this plane and try and get an A. Once I've got all 10 of them, moving on to the big stuff. Oh boy, what a challenge. Now you got to learn to fly the thing. So here's something I want to focus on for a second. Now you got to learn to fly that thing. You don't just jump in and hit the throttles. You'll kill the engines. They'll overheat. The turboprop engines on these planes will overheat, especially with a full load of fuel and a full load of water. It's realistic, you guys. So you need to learn the plane. So we got to figure out how we're going to learn the plane. There's no lesson in here on the plane itself. Here they reward you with a plane. You can now select this plane if you want and go do these missions. Good luck. You know, it's like, wow, how am I going to do that? So that's what I want to talk about also. Here's a second example, the PC-12. I love this baby here. VIP missions, you get to take the wealthy around the country. Woohoo! You know why that's a big hoo-hoo? Because they pay lots of money for that. You might make a $3 million mission taking somebody on a vacation. They got to get there now. Is that wild or what? This actually happens in real life. I want to be a pilot with one of these things. Make some money. But here's an example here. It says to score that higher rating called the VIP rating, that specialization, you need 10 private charter airplane missions with a B or above. There's the one up above. The charter private is the one at the top there. You got to score 10 of those with a B or above, and then you can take the VIP expensive passengers. You see what I mean? There's the game part of it, but it's also the goal. If there's no goal, we're not achieving something. We got to get to that goal. I'm going to do those missions till I get all that stuff. Cool. Harder missions, delicate and smooth flying. Look at that hangar. Everything's all shiny and clean. And it tells you everything you need before you start the mission. This is the start of a mission right here. All right, new specializations will unlock as you go along. But guess what? I said that CL415 is a beast. You need to learn how to fly it properly and how to handle it properly. And where is everything in that plane? There's a million switches and buttons. So I would say find an aircraft guide externally from the sim. It's the only way to do it. You've got to find a way to learn how to fly that plane properly. Now, I'm not just plugging my own Tuesday night lessons that I do on Twitch. I also have YouTube videos on how to fly these things. I got a whole water bomber section in YouTube on how to fly these things because of the popular demand on my Twitch channel. They ask for these things. I work hard at them. I'll spend a couple of weeks sometimes, or at the minimum 2 days, to learn an airplane and then help others to learn it with the basics orientation. And that's a good thing, too. Every aircraft comes with its own manual, and most of these you can find online. You're searching for something called the POH, the Pilot Operating Handbook, or you're searching for something called just the Aircraft Guide. And there might be some real ones you can use, and I use those all the time when I do my lessons, because that's what we do in real life. So I'm also going to mention I do have some aircraft guides available to you with a small donation of $3 each. I'm not here to sell them. I'm just here to let you be aware of them. And some people really like these. They're really taking off, pardon the expression. There's a scan code to get the guides if you wish. That'll take you to the website. You don't have to buy anything, but you'll see the variety of what's there. These are all my Tuesday sessions. These are my actual lessons that I spent in some cases a week, or some cases even a week and a half to make. And that's the end result. You're getting the PDF presentation of my Tuesday night lesson. All right, and so go ahead and grab that link, you guys. And if you didn't get the link, we can get it for you afterwards. But it's on the Ford or Learn to Fly website, fordorlearntofly.com. And these are available to you to grab anytime you want. And that's what it looks like. It's very much like this presentation. We do the 7 steps to learn an airplane. And I do a lot of those, and there's plenty more airplanes to learn, that's for sure. I dive in, find the details, and make it simpler, or hopefully make it simpler for you guys. Okay, everybody grab that code. We're good? And we'll come back to it if you need to, all right? I want to make sure I'm on time today. Air traffic control is built in. I want to talk about this because I'm a partner with Say Intentions. They've gratefully given me their software because I saw them build it from scratch. I got to meet Brian and the team at Say Intentions from the very beginning when they had this as a dream. So they've turned this into quite a fantastic product. I absolutely love it. As a real pilot, absolutely love it. And so that I'm used to. That's talking into a microphone to an AI ATC that works really well. But here in the career mode, we don't even get that option. We have to look at the menu and press enter. Up in the upper right corner, you can see that's the ATC menu. Always be mindful of that. They'll give you audio, but they'll also give you the prompts up top. And guess how we acknowledge our ATC clearance? We press enter. That's it, we press enter. It's like, okay, anybody can do this on their Xbox or PC. You can press enter or press your A button on the controller, and you acknowledge the clearance. I mean, that's how simple it is. But what's the skill in that? I'm always looking for the skill. What's the skill in that of pressing enter on ATC? You at least are exposed to the proper phraseology. How they word the phraseology for your clearance, how you respond. You just press enter, it'll respond for you. I just learned something about that. And that'll help you later on as you start doing your own talking on a microphone. That's, honestly, it's true. And as I mentioned, the only time that you would probably want to quit that automatic kind of thing is if it's an IFR flight and it's going to give you wrong instructions. 29,000 feet in a Cessna 172 kind of stuff, you know? So then I would go up to that menu at the very top that I got circled. That shows me the communications path or the thread. And in there, you look at the menu items at the bottom. It's not showing right now, but one of the menu items, if you're on IFR, is cancel IFR. And I would pick cancel IFR. It'll say it for you, and now you're on your own. And just go to an altitude that's safe for you and get to your destination. You're still on the same flight plan. It'll still get you there, all right? Okay, your own airplanes, as I mentioned. I knew that. That's what we want. And Evan wouldn't even tell us at the dinner the other night. He wouldn't let it. He wouldn't let it out. Your own airplanes. This is something you may not venture into. Some of you may not even want to talk about this. It's the management part of a fleet of airplanes. You start out with just one, and it's a 172, and you're going to run cargo or whatever you want to do with it. And then you're going to buy another one, and then another one, and it just grows. And then you buy bigger planes and more powerful. And this is the fun part of it because it gives you variety in airplanes and variety in missions too. And you can make lots of money. By the end of this and a few more slides, I'm going to show you what Oz Nomad is doing with career mode. He's one of the fellows that has been a supporter for many years also on my Twitch channel, and he has gone into career mode way far and above that I have. He is literally keeping a balance in the upper right corner. You see my balance there is 417 credits, 417,000 credits. Sounds like a lot. It's not. I can't buy an airplane with that. His balance, his normal balance, floating balance is $3 trillion. $3 trillion. Seriously. And he says, if I dip below 3 trillion, I get a little nervous because I can't maintain my fleet. It's like, wow. You know, and so it's like, you want to talk to Oz Nomad. He comes on our channel all the time. It's awesome what he does. All right, so you'd venture into companies when you're ready and you have enough money because the first company costs 10 grand, just the first company. And I'm recommending don't get that first company. Don't go for the bait. Save more money and go get a transport company, and that's where you're going to do the grind to make lots of money. A transport company with a 172. That's the start. All right? So here's what it looks like when you go to buy one. Most people get into that first one called flight seeing. I wonder if this thing has a thing on it. Nope. That's a blackout. Okay. The first one up there is called flight seeing. Most people grab that first because it's the cheapest company, and you don't make a lot of money on it. And they're going, you know, I bought a company. I got one plane. I'm working it. I'm not getting enough to buy another plane. Bought the wrong company. So I'm recommending get a transport company, and you will make money like I have. You'll make even more money like Oz Nomad has, all right, because you'll get a lot more revenue. And why I say transport instead of people like VIP, because transport is packages in the back of your plane, and they don't complain when you do a steep turn because I got to turn and get into that airport. Oh, there's the airport. Wow. Yeah, that's what you can do with transport. All right, so one aircraft first for each company to start. That's how it works. Then pick your mission near your aircraft. I'm not going to teach everything right now. I don't have enough time for it, but this is giving you a snapshot of what's happening. And this presentation will be available as soon as I'm done here. There's a scan code for that. You can look at it with more detail, you guys. All right, now you can earn your way more, and it's called a freelancer. You're not an employee anymore. You can go back to employee anytime if you want, just to practice some other plane. But it's called freelancer now. You are your own company. You will make your own money, or you'll go broke. I mean, if you crash your first plane and you don't have insurance, that's it. You got to start over. You got to do, reset career mode. That'll happen. Oh, did you notice how much money was there? This mission here at this point, all that money's mine now. Someone else didn't make that money, and I get my little $680. No, look at this. And I had bad weather in there, a bonus. I had a no-skip bonus because I did the whole thing. Look at that income. It's like, yeah, baby, I could do something with that kind of money. And I'll use that and build it up, buy a plane, do something else. Sloppy flying results in costly repairs. Look at this screen. $375,000 to fix a 172. Is that what that is? Whew. Maybe I should just buy another plane. If I sell this one right now at the bottom, it's $46,000. That's not very much. So anyway, these are pretty cool. Like when you look at this, and there are people going broke in career mode. I don't get it. I can't make any money. How's your flying? You know, that's my answer. How's your flying? Take a look at this one. Here is the bottom, the last surprise for a lot of people that I want to give in my presentation. If you buy more planes and you turn on crew managed on that plane, they will make money for every minute you're in the air doing a mission. Now think about that. Right now I'm at the stage where I think I've got 40 planes or something like that. Every time I take any one of those planes out, they're all crew managed. I take one out and I do 4 hours in the day. I do a 4-hour mission, one mission. All my other 39 planes are getting 4 hours and making revenue for me. So this mission I did was probably 171,000 you saw on there. All the others are making something similar. Some planes make more than others. That amounts up. So this is where the real bonus is that passive income, they call it. All the other crew of my company are making money for me, the owner. That's awesome. When you get to that stage, it's like, yeah, let's just keep buying more planes. Thanks for that. All right, so let's go take a look now at my story so far. Ooh, that's my experience number. That's not a bad mission. I did get an S just barely. That's okay. I like it. If I'm an A or an S, I did all right. As long as I finish the mission, I'm successful. PC-12, beautiful plane. Look at my revenue. I should have had like a drum roll built into the slide deck, right? You're like, look at that revenue. Wouldn't you like to make that on a mission? That's a long haul, you guys. I'm talking about 4 months worth of building this, looking at career mode, trying it out, assessing it, working it. That's a lot of months of flying. But look at my reward now. And that's mission payout. That's mission payout. That's my flight right now, my own flight of my airplane, not passive. All right? Take a look at the passive of the same hours. Now, this is 3 missions in the day. One day I decided I'm going to do 3 missions, see how much money I can make. That was the only time I did that. But look at this. It's a total of 7 hours and 8 minutes. Every one of my airplanes is making 7 hours and 8 minutes of revenue. And look how much it amounted to. This was my biggest paycheck. I was going to run down to the casino and try my luck. That was awesome. Well, that's only 29 planes that were in service at the moment. Some of them might have been needing maintenance. Down to 5 minutes, you guys. I'm going to finish up. Maintenance costs are also higher. Don't be too impressed by making millions. You might spend millions. Right here, it's a $3 million repair bill. Right there in the middle where it says delegated maintenance. If I want this thing to make any more money, I got to fix it. I got to spend $3 million. So we got to think about that as a strategy with career mode. If I own planes and I'm making lots of money and I'm getting excited about it, I got to keep them running, like in real life. Oz Nomad, to finish up, remember I said, look at his numbers up there. I think it says 3,263,000 up top there, the upper right. That's a lot. That's about his float, he calls it, right? Gets lower than that, he gets nervous. It's like, you kidding me? You give me that stuff. I got to spend it. He's got 174 aircraft. He did have up to 254 at one point. He said, I got too many to maintain. He reduced his fleet. And I said, send me a screen snap. What are you at now? He says, 174. That's about half what I own. It's like, what? This guy's working it. And he's still married. There's his 172. There's his PC-12, CJ-4. He flies all kinds of missions, gets lots of variety. The guy's a riot. Now, I've left a scan code because I'm not going to read all this to you guys. I've only picked out a few here in the presentation of his recommendations. I asked him to give me his top 20. That scan code will give you the whole document of all 20 of his recommendations. And these are good recommendations. I endorse every one of them, absolutely. So quickly scan that. We're running out of time here. We're going to have to head to the other side. Or write that down at the bottom if you don't have a phone to scan or you're not comfortable scanning QR codes. If you can capture that, you'll get his document. That's the best way to do it, I think. As soon as everybody's got that, I'll just turn the page. Once I see no more cameras in the air there. Did you get it okay? You got it? Is that scan code big enough, you guys? When I do these presentations, is it big enough? You captured it? Should be a bit bigger? Yeah, okay. If you haven't got it, I'll certainly make sure you got it afterwards. You got it, good. All right, so my recommendations too, and again, I'm not going to go through them one by one because I'm down to my last 2 minutes, you guys. I want to make sure we do this on time. We got to get north or to the other side. Don't buy every company. I'll do the last one. Focus on flights you want to do. I want to do those flights. I don't want to do the miserable flights that are boring. Go rescue someone on a mountain. You won't make a lot of money, but man, is that a lot of fun. All right? And then my suggestions, the PC-12, the X-Cub for the Arizona rescues, and the H-125 helicopter. I'll just give you that summary with 3. And go get my presentation, and then you'll have them, right? There's no cost for this presentation, you guys. All right. Now, the maintenance guideline, bottom line, is as a rule, 50% of your income should go towards maintenance. If you make $1 million, hold the $500,000 you're going to need to repair your fleet. If you make $10 million, hold $5 million to repair your fleet. Okay? Oz agrees with me on that one, so we both agree. And a list of all the skills from managing airplanes to managing a company to learning to fly correctly. And that's really the essence of my whole session, you guys. Okay. Q&A, any questions? I wanted to have some time left, and I got like 5 minutes. But if you had some questions waiting, can you come and see me after or as we're walking down? We'll talk about stuff to save you guys the time of getting down there, okay? And come and see me. We'll talk about anything. We'll give you some resources and some links so that you can continue this investigation of skills that you can learn in career mode. It is awesome. There's a few bugs. It's still new, but boy, there's a lot we can learn out of this product. And I'm having a ball. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us this year at the FS Elite stage brought to you by Meridian GMT. I have been Spencer. I'm the senior content producer for FS Elite. Thank you so much for joining us this year. We look forward to seeing you all next year at FS Expo. Thank you.